Welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips here in sunny California with me, your host, Ann. Disembodied Hands, Quindy, Disembodied Beard, John, Clicky Paws, Kiki, who's like, oh, is she starting that again? And Quindy. Wait, we already said Quindy. Turgeon. I'm like, I usually look for who's like near the end of the chat so that I don't have to think too hard. But actually, I should have said Carrie Michael Cosby because 43 months is wonderful. Thank you so much. And of course, Quindy with 51 months, but well, I shouldn't say we have high expectations for you, should I, Quindy? Man, double Quindy. Yes, double Quindy. We're seeing double today. Happy Wednesday. I saw Lucas back. I saw him on a stream painting a foot, of course, a leg and a foot, I think. I think there was a bare foot on it, however. Is he celebrating with a footsie stream? Celebrating being back? That would be very him. Oh, my eyeballs. Itchy, itchy. Oh yeah, take your allergy pill, Quindy. Ugh. We had a little bit more rain yesterday and now everything is normally. Foot is not, well, yes, but whether it's a barefoot Kodiak. Not a barefoot as in you, but a barefoot as in unadorned. Ugh. But yeah, hopefully, I guess, our rain is done for a while. Ugh. And it's supposed to be, I think 65 today, which is fantastic. It's just the reason I live here, right? It's supposed to get up to, oh, 60, yeah, 65. Okay, and then tomorrow is supposed to be 68, and then the weekend is supposed to be in the 70s. Which is just brilliant. So hopefully we'll be hopping back and forth between the mid-60s and the 70s now here in the place that I live. There. Pop all that stuff there. Hey, Fine Line. He won't be streaming on this channel today. Yeah, first day back. Oh, okay. All right, foot model. The foot model is a sponsor stream. All right, so we don't have to worry about him crashing our stream. Got it. Got it. So he's behind and he needs to hustle. I get that. I feel that. Totally. Although, weirdly, if anybody wants some rain, just ask. Yeah, it's been cold, though, this winter. Big chimpo. Big cold. Cold. So cold. I'm so happy that it's getting to be my time of year again. All right, so we've got a beautiful little Jolie. Let's do the Quicksilver on those keys because it's the only place that is. So we need to really finish the rims of her goggles. I think I'm just going to do a pretty generic book on this one. I don't have any real inspired ideas right now, and if I don't have an inspired idea, that means I just do a basic book. We also haven't put her on a base, so I probably need to find a base for her at some point. I've got some around here. But anyway, we'll deal with that when we get to it. Ah, spring showers for you guys. Hey, Roger. But yeah, it's getting nice out, and so I'm a much happier Anne. When it's nice, much happier. So we're just going to mix up some. We're going to be using a lot of different colors today since we're down to a lot of small areas on this model that we need to finish up. The cherry trees are all coming in out here. We have a lot of cherry trees in our neighborhood and in Mountain View in general. In this area. So I look down the street where I walk the puppa, like after I go down our street and turn the corner, and it's just like cherry tree, cherry tree, cherry tree. And they're all blossoming. So I sent my mom a picture. So I usually share flower pictures with her. I need a little bit of blue in this. For these little things, it's not really that necessary to like pop some blue into the gray, but... And actually, since I'm up against blue, let's not do that. Let's actually, if we do anything, let's do a tiny bit of brown. Yeah. Where's my russet? There it is. Oh, yeah, I mean, you guys who are further north are definitely still, like, really cold. Yep, yep. Yeah, my mom up in Wisconsin is still awful, of course. I grew up with terrible springs. I grew up with the trees don't get leaves till April. And sometimes May. And I don't miss those times. There is a reason that I was very eager to move to warmer states in my life. Between Texas and now here. Yeah, okay, so I mixed some russet brown into my gray. You could also just use like stone gray and just use that for your NMM. Although, be careful with the brown because it can, if you don't do the highlights and shadows like spot on, then you can get that that stone instead of metal look, right? Sounds like normal trees to you. I like my early trees. Texas regularly hits 70s in March and 80s even, depending on the year. What is it in Denton? I always keep it on my phone. There it is. 72 today with a high of 81 in Denton, guys. There you go. There you go. Ah, speaking of, hey, Sentimental. I was just saying it's like windy and it's really nice and warm today in Texas. Although it looks like you guys are getting rain. Too hot. Not for me. I miss it. It's supposed to be 65 here today, so it's lovely. All right, so we'll try that gray. I didn't want to go with a bluish gray for these little keys because they're right up against a blue dress. So I wanted a little bit more contrast. We'll get these guys in focus. That's what I get for California climate. Oh, yeah, that's just crazy. A low of 28. Ugh, Kodiak. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I remember, in fact, when I said it, I'm like, oh, wait, did they move already? So, so when is your moving date? And you're going to the UK, right? Yep, by May. All right. Fingers crossed for you. And Crane Eco right above you on the stream is in Scotland. So, and we also have Richard who's in the UK proper. And I think we have a few others as well. Sentimental was a regular at Paint Club when I was there, guys. So, fond memories of Paint Club. So I'm just going to pick this up a little bit with my gray. Kind of bring out the details a little more. A lot of mini friends over there. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, miniatures. You definitely are moving to a more mini-centric environment. The birthplace of Games Workshop, and a lot of historical wargaming as well. So yeah, I wish you very well. I hope it goes fantastic. Still going to Paint Club. Good. Yes. Warhammer World, that was fun. Yep. Yeah, I've been working on my Golden Demon entry for next year. Obviously, Adepticon being this weekend, I am not going. But part of my brain suddenly decided it wanted to paint a thing. So I was like, all right, brain, we'll see how long you stick with this. But so far, brain is excited. My brain is excited. So we'll see. No pressure. I'm not putting a single ounce of pressure on my brain for this. I'm just like, if it happens, it happens. Most important part is just to enjoy doing the model, which I like. So I like the model, so I'll have fun. Miserable with a lot of rain, yeah. Get your sunshine. Enjoy your sunshine before you get to the UK. Yeah, coming from way too hot in the summer, I'm sure you'll be happy enough for some rain that isn't, isn't ice apocalypse. Texas goes between like 100 degrees and ice apocalypse, according to the news and the rest of the country, right? That's the only time they mention us. I was happy we got such a rainy winter out here because I missed the rain. Like, when I moved here, it was in the middle of a drought, so there was just nothing. And I was like, does it never rain here? Did I move to Arizona by mistake? But this winter spring has been nice and rainy. Yes, Kerniko, it was. But the skink was reassuring to me. And it was, and that was, like, the first year it was back at Adepticon. This is, like, the third year, I think, coming up. But the skink was reassuring to me because if they're willing to award... Because in the old days, you had to sculpt. You had to convert everything, or you wouldn't have a chance. And I didn't, I did it, you know, I converted as little as I could to win my demons. But it was never my strong point. Sculpting was never my strong point, and I often felt, you know, that it was weird to have a painting competition that was so much more focused on conversion. Oh, sorry, I'm off camera. It was perfect. That model was technically perfect. And so for me, I'm a very technical painter. And for me to see, like, and that wasn't the only one that was a stock model with no modifications that won. Because that just, like, made a little light go on in my head. I was like, wait a minute. I can just paint like I like to paint and still have a chance? I'm in, right? I'm in. Because I really don't necessarily want to convert everything. Hey there, Shadow Raven. Yeah, getting some inspiration out of it. Well, and there are a lot of beautiful models entered at GD. But yeah, mostly it was just like I said, like when I was competing in Golden Demon the first time, when I won my first demons, it was very much you had to convert to win, and I'm kind of just relieved that it's not like that anymore. And that skink was beautiful, and I think they just chose it to like send, if they chose it to send that message, like that it's okay to paint a stock figure as long as you do it really, really well. I'm like, awesome. I mean, it's Games Workshop's competition. They can set they don't have to, like, you know, go along with anybody else's criteria. They can set their own. That said, there have been plenty of converted and really cool models that have won. And I think that you know, they just want to, because it's a first, second, third, remember this, guys. Whenever you are entering a painting competition that is a first, second, third competition, which is not ReaperCon, which is an open, right? They're going to judge it based on the flaws they can find. At ReaperCon, ideally, we judge according to the good things we can find. And when we do see glaring fault, it does factor in, right? It might mean the place between a low silver and a high bronze, right? But when you are trying to get to the top 3 models, you are looking for every little imperfection you can find in order to DQ models so that you end up with 3. And that's the way you have to judge, because you've got so many models and they're all very good, right? So you have to nitpick. So that's the kind of competition that rewards technical perfection. So if you're going to do a big piece, it better be painted. And this is what actually a past Slayer Sword winner and Golden Demon winner, Bobby Wong, told me once. He's like, the problem with units and big models is that you must paint everything to the highest level that you hit on any given model. So you can't paint your leader amazing to an 11 and then only paint the rest of the unit to a 9, right? So that's the thing. You can still win with the big stuff, but it better be really good. Like, you better really dot your I's and cross your T's. Yeah, more achievable for normal. Right, exactly, Kamiko, which is what a lot of the complainers didn't get, right, is that... And that's always been... Games Workshop has always kind of straddled the line on that. Like, they go back and forth. And sometimes they go too far down. Sometimes I feel like their stock paint jobs on their box art are just, like, really low bar. And I wish they'd do better. But lately, it's been a good, decent midline where it's still, like, attainable. But it usually has at least a few bells and whistles on it that make it look really good. So, although I still feel like some of their models are photographed really lousy. Because I'll really hate a model when I see it in person, and then I'll actually see the model physically or I'll hate the model when I see the box art, and then when I physically see it in person, I'm like, wow, that's really dynamic. Why did it look so crappy in the box art? So let's do a little bit of a highlight here up on the upper. These little rings are cylinders. So the light is going to fall down to about halfway down. And we'll put that bright highlight. I keep getting off, because I'm trying to be close, I keep getting off camera. Here we go. But yeah, so I don't mind the new Golden Demon. It'll be interesting to see if I can still do my super smooth blends that I used to be capable of. It takes so long. Chose a color scheme for my model, so more or less anyway. There was really only one of the color schemes in the army book that was actually doable for me, because I hate painting white armor, and most of the regions had white armor because high elves. Okay. Oh no. Oh, you got the metal one and not the, or you had the metal one and not the new one, Shadow Raven. I was gonna say, the good thing about it being in Bones USA now is that it's much less likely to die. Just gonna hit little bits of highlights on the end of those little rings. Yeah, I just go for Bones USA when possible these days, because if it falls or is knocked off by a puppy tail or something, then I just want to not worry about it. So I'm putting a shadow right under that highlight, which is what we do, right, to get that kind of contrast. The biggest problem with metal models these days, if I did drop one, when the nose gets smooshed, it's impossible to come back from. If that's the part that gets smooshed when it falls. So now we've got some darks. Yeah, I guess so. If you've got it already. It's just more prone to breakage. Yeah. And you know what? It doesn't matter. Just put it however it looks good to you. It's one of those models, and this is true of many Izzy concepts, actually, that were sculpted by Werner. The socket is a little loose, and so you can choose to pose it however you like. Most of the time, Izzy's weapons, art-wise, are pointed downward, not upward. But there are exceptions. So, you can do whatever you like. However it looks better to you. However it better fits the color composition. I will probably decide based on color composition and model flow. But I'm not going to worry about it until I get there. So we've got highlight on the top, highlights on those, highlights to bring out the little head tines, and now we need another little highlight, but a smaller, less bright one, on the underside here of the ring. Yeah. Yeah, I hate to say it, but with the quality of the new plastic, any urge to paint metal has completely disappeared for me. Heretical as that may sound to some. Boop, 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 boop. There. We have a tiny key ring. It's shiny. Shiny, tiny, shiny key ring. Excellent. Let us get those glasses done. You know, I was thinking about it. I could just make these glasses silver. The problem is that the sky lenses wouldn't show up as well if I made them silver. That's why I was originally thinking gold. And there's no other silver on the front of the model. And I did this lens in the gold, so. Yeah, but Izzy's also, I mean, in concept art, yeah, you sometimes are doing that. I find that Izzy's understanding of realism in armor and weaponry is actually far more showcased in the way that she does armor, draws armor. Whereas with weapons, I think a lot of it is composition, like just composition on the page, as far as what looks better to her. I don't know. It would be a good question to ask. She might just tell you, I don't even think about it, I just do it. But yeah, I do really like the Bones USA and the 3D prints. They're all very, very crisp and sharp and clean, and I like painting them. So, mixing up a really quick. Well, it would be really quick if my rich leather had decided not to get clogged today. Yeah, just ask at ReaperCon. She's always in a good mood at ReaperCon. Everybody's in a good mood at ReaperCon. Just mixing up my NMM colors. Except I'm going to do kind of a shortcut. So instead of doing 3 or 4, I'm going to already have white. I already have white mixed up. So I'm going to do just 2. I'm going to do, if you ever have to do a super fast NMM and you're like touching something up, just mix up the rich leather and the lantern plus white. You can always mix these together to get a decent mid-tone on the fly. And then of course I'll need a dark brown liner so I can get that. Which reminds me again that I need to order more brown liner. Oh. It's true, Shadow Raven. It's in the middle of the USA. It always has been, though. To be fair, it's been hidden in plain sight in Texas for a long time. Alrighty. Gotta mix everybody up. And then we can just tackle those goggles and get the last bits of gold done on this model. Oh, and the book. The book! Ah! Yep. Well, I have to travel to it now, too. That's kind of the con thing. Yeah, you'd want to split it in. I mean, the thing is, bringing the toddler would be that's what makes the road trip harder, is the little kid on the road thing with Laura. All right, let's get this. Yeah, it's everything up to like it's 12 or 13 hours to my parents in Arizona, but that's actually, I consider that a pretty like decent road trip. That's not terrible. But with a toddler, it's terrible. But I like road trips. Gives me time to think. And I like having time to think. All right. May offend my late golds too much. We'll see. Yeah, well, I need to stop every 2 hours anyway, because, you know, bathroom breaks. And stretching my back and hips. Because I can't cram them in the car for too many hours. Oh, nice, Gary. Yeah, when there's bendy roads, it's a lot different. Yeah, but I think in Europe that's the case, though, too, Kuro, right? Is... My mother still tells the story about when Dad and her were in... I think it was when they were on their honeymoon. I think they were in Italy. And they mentioned to their bed and breakfast person, the owner of the B&B, that they were thinking about driving the next country over just for fun for a day. And, like, the looks they got. They thought it was like you were going to the moon, Mom said. It was like you casually said you would go. Yeah, it's 5 hours to Houston. That's not bad. At least every, like, other or every, like, every other or every third year, sentimental. It's not like you have to come every year from the UK, though we'd love to see you, but... You'll also be able to go to UK Golden Demon for inspiration. Not the same, I know. But at least you have a miniatures show. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, you do need to... You definitely need your SO to come and experience. ReaperCon needs to be experienced, for sure. Does sushi paint? I never asked. Why would I make John stream? John can stream on, like, Reaper Live. Bucky's instead of the hotel. Oh, they good. Good. Yay, Mini Painters Unite! Aw, thanks, Sentimental. Yeah, I would love to meet them. Oh, UK Golden Demon is in Germany this year? Right, because they said they were... I thought they were just going to do another one in... Or are they actually moving it? Is that what they're doing? Are they going to try to move around the Golden Demon every year to a different European location? That seems kind of fraught. It's like, hey Germany, we want to give you your golden demon back. But not really, you're just getting our golden demon. We're just refurbishing our golden demon and giving it to you. GW. So we're doing the tops. Yeah, isn't it bad? Yeah. Well, and hey, you get to, like, go to Germany, so. You know what? It happens with, especially if it's not like your brother or sister's wedding. It's like a cousin. I mean, no matter what date you make it on, you're going to have somebody who can't come. This has been my experience with weddings and other things of like importance. You can't help everybody, so the best thing you can do is determine, you know, which relatives you really care the most about, and friends, and prioritize those people's schedules. And everybody else, you either get them or you don't. Anybody who gets whiny about that is just being silly. The big thing with Golden Demon is to practice your blending sentimental. You want to make the model as neat and tight as you can. Luckily, styrene models kind of help that because everything is very clearly sculpted. And it's very smooth material. So it helps. Hey there, Slayer. That is kind of the nice thing about Games Workshop's models nowadays, as long as you're not working with, if you're not working with resin or fine crap or whatever, they probably don't even do fine cast now. They're probably doing 3D printing, but at least this styrene stuff is very, very smooth and easy to work with, paint-wise. I mean, but you had stuff to do. I mean, awkward. If it was awkward, then that person was making it awkward, right? It's like be solid in your like, you know, you had that plan. You were sorry, but you couldn't come, and that was just the way it is. Like, don't feel guilty about it after the fact. Don't let that awkwardness come in. It's not really awkward. You had plans. You had already committed. You had hotel booked. You had everything else. So I have little patience with guilt trips or anything like it anymore. I was raised in a Catholic family, so guilt was the order of the day. Oh, good, good. Michael gave you good feedback, huh? Good. Yeah, you should. Yeah, share it on the Discord for sure. Yeah, you totally have to share your adventures on the Discord, Sentimental. You know that. Oh, fine cast is just terrible. That's the problem with that. Like you're spin casting resin. And the things that aren't going to fill are the tiny details. And those Lord of the Rings models have crap tons of tiny details. Because they're true 25. Unless it's a different range that I'm not aware of. But the originals are true 25. Tiny. Tiny. Not heroic scale. So here we're mostly going to focus on the tops and the bottoms of these rims on the glasses. We don't want to do anything too fancy because we don't have a lot of room to do it in, and we don't really want to distract from other things in the vicinity. Gwynny. I thought they'd gone to 3D printing, but I'm sure there's still fine crap out there. Plenty of people trying to get rid of it. I still have some. I have Aldar Rangers that are fine crap. Yeah, sorry. It's what we started calling it for... It's what we started calling it when it first came out, and I'm afraid I can't call it anything else. Happily, this is not a Games Workshop stream, so I'm unlikely to be punished for it. Yeah, Forge World does resin, but they don't typically do spin-casted resin, which is what Fine Crap was. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, when they first started, it was terrible. Yeah. My Elder Rangers aren't bad, it's just that the weapons are all crooked and it's hard to fix. Pretty much I'll have to go throw them in the boiling water. Which I hate doing. Yeah, that's fair, Carly. I mean, it's not like I'm terribly into GW. I'm mostly buying models for Golden Demon or, you know, just because I like them at this point rather than to play any games. I don't have anybody to play with. Maybe someday. Yeah, Forge World resin is a whole different kettle of monkeys. Boop. Get that little highlight up there. Ding, ding, ding. Shinies. Shiny glasses. Got the tops, got the side, get a little bit underneath. But yeah. It is what it is. I respect people for not buying GW. Their prices are exorbitant. I don't know how anybody can afford a freaking army these days. I also saw kind of a... I'd have to double check, but I thought I saw a disturbing trend too where UK customers were definitely getting lower prices. Didn't really line up with the exchange rate, but it is what it is. And if they want to do that, they can do it. Fine gas blister bag. Well, it'll be worth something someday, right? Right, Hyper? Oh, yeah. 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 Yeah, that's the thing, right? If you want to get into gaming with Games Workshop, it's better to try to get older models. You can usually find somebody liquidating stuff. I mean, I've liquidated stuff, GW stuff before, because it usually has a decent resale value, as long as it's still a unit or a army that's still being utilized. And sometimes even when it's not. There's plenty of, like, collectors out there for it. So... That's why I don't really regret, like... Sure, I'm spending money on it here and there, but if I want to turn around and liquidate any of it, I'll be able to at least get what I paid for it. Just doing a couple quick highlight touch-ups here on these little guys. Lost my white a little bit. There we go, shiny. Need to be shiny. All right, shiny. So shiny, shiny, shiny. Now book. Book. All right. Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? You can find a lot of people liquidating that stuff, though, Laura. Look around on eBay. Like, because, I mean, I know... Because there are plenty of people like me and my ex who we bought in and got a bunch of it, and then we, you know, I moved and stopped playing D&D. And then, you know, it would have been a no-brainer to liquidate. I know that I had friends who liquidated theirs for the same reasons. They're like, well, we're not playing right now. It takes up a lot of room. And there's plenty of people who want it, so we can sell it for, you know, as much as we paid or more. But I'm sure plenty of people are just trying to offload it. So if you really want Dwarven Forge, I bet you can find it. No, Kickstarter got, yeah. Whenever anything starts up, it's It's always more fun and more profitable. Then the companies step in and or more likely, you know, then people realize how much money it's going to actually cost them to fulfill their product, and they start actually charging more. Because there were plenty of people who took a bath on their Kickstarters, right? Because they didn't charge enough. All right, so mostly we're going to be highlighting, we'll highlight the top edge here, and we're going to pick out little bits of highlights on some of the stuff up here, but mostly I'm going to have a lot of reflected light, so I'm going to bring up highlights going down like you can see here where this is lighter. But yeah, I mean, David does this all the time. If there's a model, if there's like an expensive model that he wants, like that might be out of print or harder to find, he'll just stock it. He'll stock, I think you can set an alert on certain keywords on eBay nowadays, and it'll email him when something comes up. For a while, he was stocking an out-of-print mermaid. It was actually the mermaid that he ended up painting for Crystal Brush. He was stocking that model for years, guys. Years. So, like, you could always kind of stock some Dwarven Forge stuff, and every time it comes up, take a look at what they're charging. Figure out what you're willing to pay for it. I'm just taking some liner, by the way, and crisping up this, crisping up the design a little bit, edging it. Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, if you found somebody who's got, like, just as good or better, because I found the Dwarven Forge stuff to be a little bit clunky compared to what people can do nowadays, right? It still looks like it's D&D from the 90s. So yeah, just doing little bits of lining, see, around the edges here. Oh yeah. Yeah, Spira and some of those are just too difficult. Like, I would love those 3 witches, but there's no way I'm gonna find somebody who's liquidating those. Those are, like, I'm not gonna get lucky on that one. Alright, there we go. So we've tightened up all of our edges down there. Now I can lighten. Okay, yes, by all means, go and vent. Go and vent on Discord. Yeah, I didn't even know about them when the witches went up either. No one wants to let go of them, yep. That is totally true. That's why these days I don't really even give money to people who are doing limited stuff. I'm not going to buy into that. It always frustrates me so much when I see, as you say, like something that's a dream model for you and that you can't get because you just didn't know about it in time and it was limited. Oops, sorry. So highlighting towards the bottom edge to show reflected light. So I'm mostly using my lighter yellow. I'm not using any white because it's reflected light, so it's not going to be as bright. And I'm using it thin so I can just build up layers of it. Yep. Yeah. Yep. I know that piece, Kreniko. That was the inspiration for Julie's Dance of Death, by the way. Like, as far as Ron wanted a piece that had the feel of that. But that was totally the piece that made Ron ask Julie for Fighting Dragons. Yeah, but the limited paints are all, like, in general, easy to mix. If they're not easy to mix, then there are colors that are close. I'm not that way around paint. I mean, and maybe it's just because I can mix anything I want, but I mean, I can also show you guys how to mix anything you want. So, like, if there is a particular one, I'm not going to respond to general FOMO. That's the thing, though. It's like, yeah, if there's a limited paint though, or a paint that you missed that was canceled, I can usually tell you how to mix it. I even did a PDF on how to mix the dusky skin tones once for the Patreon. I think it's for the Dark Elf skin. But I mean, that's what you got here in me, is like, yeah, I think Julie's is a better sculpt. But yeah, that's what you have here for me, is you have the ability to say, hey, Anne, I never got blah paint. I never got chestnut gold. How do I make chestnut gold? Or is there a color that's really close to it that'll do the same things? And I guess the thing for me is functionality, right? As long as I have a paint that'll do the same sort of thing, it doesn't have to be an exact match. Yeah, I found one of my dusky skins yesterday when I was looking for muted colors for my muted colors PDF that I just finished. But obviously, since it was canceled, I couldn't use that one. It totally is in category 3, though, for anybody who wonders. Oh, really? See, he told me... Ron and I have talked about that Dennis Beauvais artwork before Green Users. And I think I mentioned to him... We were talking about Fighting Dragons before you even did that piece. So maybe it was just, like, good synergy with the universe then. Because I know that Ron and I had talked about it before. So obviously you just anticipated Ron asking you about that. Because I just thought he'd just asked you about it because we had talked about that piece before. So when I heard Fighting Dragons, I was like, oh, it was like when Ron and I were talking about blah. But if it was just you spontaneously coming up with it, that's even better. There we go. So we've got some light. We've got more light at the bottom than at the top. I'm going to put in a shadow, and I'm going to put in some white spot highlights around the edges. Yeah, when you get comfortable with mixing, then OP paints don't really mean anything. Unless it's a really hard one to mix, like Orchid Purple is really hard to mix. Which reminds me, I need to get an extra bottle. Get an extra bottle of Orchid Purple. Yeah, that's where I'm at kind of now, Laura, is like... I have so many beautiful models already that I'm not painting. That most of the time nowadays, it has to be like exactly in my wheelhouse for me to pull the trigger. So now we're going to take this upside down book and we're going to put a little bit of shadow here at the top. Just on the upper parts of these little guys. So just a little extra dark, and then we'll bring in some light. Yeah, he was totally yanking your chain, Julie. Totally yanking your chain. If he was really reluctant, it was probably more of an we'll Ed back this kind of thing than a Ron thing. Because Ron and I know he knows that artwork, and I know we had discussed it. So put some white highlights, and then we'll bring those around. But yeah, I always like the look of Dennis Beauvais' dragons. They had very unusual features. Yeah, right, Korniko, yeah. Yes, when they list them for good prices and then you find out it's only like 3 inches long or 2 inches long or something. They're printing it really small. Oh, back over my shoulder here. Looks like it's too... Yeah, it looks like it's just a blip. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, there it is. Huh. I wonder why we have a black rectangle on my... Oh, is it the camera? Well, no, because this is here and there's nothing else. Well, it's not there. Oh, it's actually my lamp. Sorry, guys. It's actually the lamp. I'm like, wait a minute, it doesn't show up when I do this. Yeah, this is my lamp right here. It's not a camera, it's a lamp. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna trim down those little white bars there. Today is a catch up on email and writing day. For Anne. And I need to go and water my grass seeds in hopes that they sprout. So that I can attempt to repair part of the Kiki damaged lawn. Randomly called by a headhunter. That's always fun, right? Did they see you on LinkedIn and decided that they had to have you? This side is about right. This side is still way too big. There we go. Now the sides. Oh yeah, scale to 25mm and don't give base size. Yep, yep. Okay, so line around that. Ah. Interesting, Hyper. Are you thinking about taking it? You haven't been that happy with your job, have you, recently? Maybe you should take it. Oh, wow, Terranico. Ah, yeah. Yeah, that's a thing nowadays, isn't it? The culture is a big thing in a company. Alright, there we go. So we've got some highlights there. We gotta do this other edge. Yeah, it really is a gamble. I agree, Quindy. I've gotten like a couple of really good ones, then I've got one with the print lines so evident that it was terrible. And I'm like, who in the world does this nowadays? So, and then, of course, since we've gotten our printer, I haven't had to do that anymore, but... Yeah, I would. Hyper, you never know. Like, the thing is, you know, it could be not as good, or it could be actually even better. Like, you never know. I don't know. I'm always positive about change. Like, go in with some trepidation, of course, you know, because it was a random call out of nowhere. But maybe do some homework and learn about the company before you even have that meeting or that talk. Because you certainly don't want to, like, leave the job you love with the people you like, you know, only to go into some place that has exactly the same problem with the culture that you don't like in your current job. Yeah, they never pick the actual printout, right? I do feel kind of like it's time to clean out my miniatures closet. Yeah, I would be particular as well. Alrighty. So we've got this gold, I think, figured out. Maybe a little bit more at the bottom edge of this gold on the bottom of the book. There we go. That's good. I like that look. We can see the details on the underside of the book, but it's not, like, lit up. That's alright, Hyper. You'll come out of it. Oh, good. Yeah, you know, and if you accomplish one thing, like, tell yourself how awesome you are for doing that. Like, make sure that you reinforce your subconscious by, like, you know, saying, this was fun and awesome, and I did a great thing. It was cool that I got something done, you know. Feel happy with yourself about it. I have to fight this on my writing, where, you know, if I write 300 words, but I wanted to do 600, I get all down on myself. Instead, I should just be happy that I did 300 words instead of 0. Lately, it's just been I've been wanting to keep my hand in and do some writing every single day. That's my goal. Yeah, Laura. Oh, yeah. Sometimes that happens. The last bit of time, suddenly the pressure to do something will build until we finally do something. Like, I have that happen a lot, creatively. Hyper. So yeah, so don't, like, be frustrated with yourself that you know, quote unquote, wasted 2.5 hours. Presumably you were still having fun hanging out with everybody. Just be happy that you actually did something. Yeah, that's good, Laura. Yeah, I just want to really, like, I'm so close to the midpoint of the book. And the midpoint is, like, where typically things start speeding up for me and the exciting parts are happening, you know. So I just really want to get to the mid. Because usually everything from there on out, like, comes easier for me. And I'm looking forward, like, one of the scenes coming up right now is one I've been looking forward to for months. So that usually helps too. Oh, cake, yay. Hey, Zachariah. Yeah, we were even talking about Paint Club and Sentimental Seer and stuff. Alrighty. Oh, fine line. Now you're rubbing it in. We distracted her from it. And now you're just like, oh, by the way, I have that on my desk right here. You know, deftly strokes dragon miniatures that Kerniko desperately wants. Oh, new things at Paint Club. Oh, a whiteboard. An airbrush setup. Wow. That's crazy. Paint Club has gotten, like, high class. See, now Kerniko is despairing. Kuro, you just need to win the lottery and get Jolie to sculpt you a new version. Just for you. And then you'll be like, I own this model and no one else does. Yes, both are the green users. It would take 2. The first thing on your lottery wish list, yeah. Okay, look out. Ah, yeah. Good. Yeah, good, Hyper. Yeah. Sometimes when we overthink, we just need to, like, back up and just, like, try to find pleasure in just the work. Like, just sitting down to paint and think about how nice and calm it feels and how it feels good to be there doing it. I've been trying to, like, reverse psychology myself lately with the diet. Every time I'm good on my diet, I tell myself how proud I am of myself and, you know, and focus on how awesome I am for doing that. And I tell myself that I'm awesome and that I did such a good job. So I'm trying to like rewrite some of the panic that my brain would normally feel over like shortening my calorie intake. And trying to reassure my little brain that thinks it's going to starve also by happy reassuring thoughts. My poor little brain that thinks it's going to starve. It's so sure. It's so sure. Georgia O'Keeffe also did that, Twisted Oma. She did a lot of paintings of Blue Mesa that was, you know, she could see it from her house. If you ever make it up to Santa Fe, you can go to the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum there, which is wonderful. Hi there, Kiki. Do you want to come up and see the stream? You just, like, your tongue almost reached the stream right there. Hi. Dark Swords resin based on Larry Elmore's Red Dragon. I don't know that I have that one. I've got a lot. But I think that was one that I didn't get. The museum is fantastic. It has video of her and lots of photography. In addition to, it's a good thing to. It talks about her life. There's a mini movie to watch. Hey, Baba. Do you want to come up on my lap, Baba? I think Kiki does not want to come up on my lap today. Hey there, Baba Baba. Good girl. All right, I have to go work. I have to work. Yep. All right. Doing kind of a lap around the model here. Ah, piece of the belt that we forgot right there. That's cool, Zachariah. Just trying to get little bits of this. There. Had to get that little bit of belt. Yeah, cats are a whole different, right? Cats like to be on stream with you. There's an Overwatch streamer I really like who his cat is always going up on the camera. He's got a cat cam. I need to get the top of the shoulder. So yeah, I'm just going around the model now since I've got my NMM colors mixed up. I just want to go around, make sure that I have hit everything, that I've got everything done to the level I want. Do a little bit of extra highlighting up here. Yep, have a good lunch, Shadow Raven. pop some white highlights where I didn't get them in very bright the first time. Missed the cap up here. So yeah, on a model with this much filigree and edging and everything, just doing kind of around there and looking and figuring out things that you've missed. Yeah, cat, I think there's no way we get a cat at any point. I think David, that thing would be all over his desk and he would hate it. I can just see it. So, no kitties for us. He loves Kiki, so, like, I've successfully indoctrinated David into at least owning an animal and enjoying it. But if that animal actually messed with his stuff, I am pretty sure he would not enjoy it. So the Kiki is what we got for now. The runes are all just CHP, these are all sculpted on. They're all sculpted. That makes it easy. Mostly, Kerniko. I remember, I am a previous cat owner. I am aware. Plus, you never know what foibles you're going to get with any given feline. I mean, you can freehand stuff like this too, but it's much easier to do it when it's sculpted. Like, it is possible to do this fine of a line, but it would just be a lot harder. Alrighty, now I think I want to highlight this gray pot a little bit with the, I've got a light gray as a matter of fact, because I've got my silver color mixed up for the keys. So I can use that. And the white. Oh yeah. I don't know, I think I just got traumatized when I owned so many animals before. It was just too much for me. And I love having Kiki, but it also means that we can't just take off and go down to Monterey like we attempted to yesterday. We attempted to make plans to do that, but our pet sitter had no openings. And so it was either trust somebody we had no idea about or just say no and not do it. And that's the tough part. So I actually have a great deal of fun imagining a miniature car trying to open your cabinet doors, Twisted Oma. So too much blobby, too much water. Yeah, it just makes it a lot more of a pain to go and do something at all spontaneously, especially because our pet sitter is really popular and has a lot of recurring clients. So that means that if I'm going to book him, I have to book him like 6 months in advance. And that means that spontaneous weekends away are right out. Part of me was pretty happy not to have a dog for a while. So, or an animal of any sort. Yeah, have a good one, Crowley. That's funny, Laura. Animals are awesome, but sometimes also vacations from them are awesome. To each their own. Every time I think about like getting another dog though, I kind of go no. So even if Keeks does have pups, I may not keep one. Much as I would like to have a smooth-coated Shiloh again, it might be worth more to me to be able to travel while David and I are still relatively young, and then to get another dog when we're not as into it. Yeah, it's a non-option because she'd have to stay in the car so much. She can't come into most galleries, Pendrake. And I'm not going to take a dog down there just to stuff her in the car for like hours. Like we take hours going to galleries. Oh, nice, Hyper. Yeah. Well, I guess you don't use her anymore. There we go. So now I've got a nice little highlight on that gray jar. Yeah, with that sort of thing, I might even leave them a negative review, depending on where you found them. I'm going to get a little bit on these pages. A little bit more highlight there. So I'm just going to bring up a little bit of this if I can get these pages, which are sculpted. I might need to go back and forth. It's okay, Kuro. You can hang out with us until you stop being half of a werebeast. I just imagine claw mode, and I imagine half of your hand is like, or one of your hands is morphed into a wolf paw or a cat paw. Probably with you, you'd be a werecat, huh? Werebobcat, werelynx. It's like, oops. Except it's like the new moon, so you've totally done it wrong. Aren't you supposed to wait for the full moon for that? Oh, I see. Hyper. You're a were-earwig? That does not sound like a good were creature to be. Or maybe I'm just misinterpreting. I would think you would be like a werelynx or a werebobcat or something. Don't you have Scottish wildcats? Have a little tiny bit of plastic or paint there. There. Grumpy floofy tabbies. Nice. So whatever that is, that's the werebeast, I would imagine, if you were a werebeast. Except slightly less grumpy, because you're not really that grumpy of a person. Just trying to get these pages to stand out a little bit. Alright. It's a little better. I like that a little better. Alright. And we're going to need to do lettering, although we're already at the end of the stream, so I'm pretty much going to just highlight the book with a little bit of white, and we'll do the book next time. I think we've finished everything else except the eyes, and I want to go back over some of the red. I'm going to add red to these little spots and highlight a bit more on this. Oh, good. Yeah, physical therapy can really help with that stuff. 'Cause usually it's like a weak muscle that's making problems. And the physical therapy exercises will help build up strengthening. I love physical therapy. Like, honestly, if I was younger, I might consider going to school to be a physical therapist, just because, like, I love my physical therapists, and I think it does, like, such a great service. And I wish more people had access to physical therapy just for everyday kind of, like, maladies, right? So just brightening up my white here, hitting these pages a little bit. Shoulder pain can be caused by a whole bunch of different stuff. But yeah, I'll second Twisted Oma on the physical therapy. It can really help. So we don't need to blend perfectly on our book, because once we start putting text in and possibly discoloring it, like edges and stuff, it will essentially cover over and just, you won't even notice any blending foobarrs. I'd get it like decent. I've had success with rover.com finding pet sitters. That's how we found our pet sitter. There's a decent number of people on there that have a lot of good reviews and repeat customers, and it's usually a pretty good sign. But once we've got our one guy, we didn't really want to have a bunch of different people. There's some, I mean, you could try some really simple yoga. I don't know how much you can do Twisted Oma, but some really simple yoga can help a lot. That's what started me on my road. Really simple. Like, I mean, some of the simplest moon, none of the fancy stuff. Honestly, once I looked up a bunch of back stretches first, yoga stretches for the back, and then I just started doing those. And that was all really, like, fairly easy. If you can get down on your hands and knees, if you can. If you can't, then maybe look for some stuff you can do in a chair. But you'll want a chair with good, like a good firm seat. But like the bird dog exercise, where you stick out one arm and your opposite leg, that can really help. And it's a simple one, and you don't have to do it for very long at all. Yeah. Nope, I haven't. I mean, I did ages ago, Pendrick, but I've done books. I've done lots of books now. And I decided I'm not going to do anything fancy for the book. It's just going to be a book. Not going to do anything like particular for the book. Don't really have any inspiration for it, so I'm not going to do it. Yeah, cat cows. Yep. Cat cows. I do the cat cow, and then I do the bird dog. And then I do the downward dog. And then I do the upward dog. I do all the dogs. But the one thing, once you've got the bird dog down and the cat cows, then the one thing I think that made the biggest difference for me was the plank. I do the plank just with long arms. I don't do it on my elbows. But even if you can just hold the plank for a few seconds and just like every couple days try to add 1 second or 5 seconds, whatever you feel up to, right? I eventually worked up to now I do a 1 minute plank every morning. So last night during CrossFit for our warm-up, they actually asked for a 1-minute plank, and I was like, it's a breeze. I do them every day. Yeah, you don't need good knees for yoga. Yoga is all about the core, so it's not going to stress your knees at all, Twisted Oma. Don't do any of the like standing crazy stuff. Like work your way, like do the exercises like we were saying, like where you're just on your hands and knees. If your knee hurts, then just get cushion for it. Get like a soft, like a yoga mat or an extra cushion for it. And just because honestly, just like doing the cat cows, they'll help stretch out your back. Doing the bird dogs, that helps, you know, firm up, make sure you hold your stomach in. It helps to like develop those muscles. It's really gentle. And then the plank, again, it's just you gotta hold your stomach in while you're doing it, and it builds strength. And and they're really simple exercises, and you don't have to do anything crazy or worry about your balance. Which I didn't have very good balance when I started yoga, so that was a thing for me. Bird dog, cat cow, and glute bridge. Yeah, so there you go. Is the glute bridge where you're doing like the crab walk kind of bridge, where you're on your back but you're using your legs and you're holding yourself up? It's like the reverse hands and knees. Is that what glute bridge is? I've never heard, but it seems like it might be. What is glute bridge? Whoa. Now I have to look that up. Oh, okay. So just like the bridge, just like that. So that's another good one. Just that position. Yeah, so a lot of this yoga stuff you could do really easily, Twisted Oma. And the point is to just use that to get yourself a little stronger, and then to graduate slowly into stuff that you know builds more. Like when I looked at Pilates and I was like, no freaking way. Like there's a pose where you balance on your butt and your legs you're in a V. Your legs are up on one side and your torso is up in the other, and you're holding your arms straight out and you're making essentially a V with your arms straight out. I was like, no freaking way. It has taken me, gosh guys, like 3 years. I can do that pose now. I started doing yoga every day like 2.5, 3 years ago. And just in the last month have I been able to do that Pilates pose because my core is strong enough now. Yeah, if you're on your back with feet planted, then lift hips up. Yeah. Hip bridge. Yeah, okay. Yep. Yeah, so you can, I mean, those are very simple things, and it only takes like 5 minutes a day too, Twisted Oma. It takes very little time. Yeah, you're not a V, right, exactly, no. But I wanted to see if I could, so eventually I got to my V. But that's why it's like it's important to start with exercises that you feel comfortable with. But all that yoga stuff it helps. So yeah, look up those. Look up cat cow, bird dog, and glute bridge, and just start with those. Just 5 minutes, and see what. And then maybe a plank if you feel like it, because I think the plank really does help too. But if your back is really weak and your core is really weak, you might not be able to plank right away, and that's okay. You've done that glute one, yeah, with a cat balanced on you. Yeah, right. Yep. There's actually a pose for that. It's like the banana pose. I forget what they called it. There was a name for it last night, Twisted Oma. But you keep your back flat on the floor. You curve your shoulders up with your arms either out or down. And then you lift your knees. And so you actually do kind of a U. Although if you're holding your legs at an angle, then it'll be a U with a tail. But there is that is a viable exercise. We did that for warm up last night in CrossFit. But some of this stuff you may only be able to hold for a few seconds too, and don't feel bad about yourself if that's the case. It's all stuff you're just building. It's always just a building. But you know what? It's better, and it's funny because the first time you do some of these, you feel your core muscles suddenly wake up, and you're like, "Whoa, what happened?" So, there's totally cat-assisted yoga. I mean, I'm going to do goat yoga. Did I tell you guys that? I signed up for goat yoga. It's on the 30th. My CrossFit coach, Andrew, booked it for just our people. just our CrossFit gym. So you go to goat yoga, and the goats stand on you while you do yoga, and there are all sorts of baby goats running around nibbling on you while you do yoga. This is goat yoga. I thought it was hilarious the first time I heard about it, and then I got the opportunity to do it. I'm like, I'm in. Yes, cat yoga is definitely a thing. Yeah, they have a petting zoo. This farm where they have the goat yoga has a petting zoo, and they use it to socialize the baby goats for the petting zoo. So, yes. Oh, don't be nervous, Hyper. You're awesome. You're awesome, Hyper Bunny. You can do it. You can do it. It'll be fine. And remember, you don't have to commit to anything. You get to, that person may be interviewing you, but you should turn it into them interviewing you, you interviewing them as well. Right? Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Twisted Oma. So, like, yeah, goat yoga is actually real, Kiriniko. Wait, I've got the flyer. Where is it? I'll prove it. I'll prove it. And then we'll end the stream. There is a goat, and there is somebody cuddling a baby goat in the background. Goat yoga! You bring a beach towel instead of a tiny goat, petting a tiny goat in the background. And then big goat, and then little tiny goat, and then there's more tiny goats. So yes, humans are just terrain. They do use adults, actually, as well, if you look at the picture. That is a big goat. That's Allie, Andrew's wife. She has a goat on her. I think because it's very light on the yoga and it's more about playing with the goats. But I like yoga too, so I think I'm gonna have fun. I'm just gonna be open-minded and have fun. Oh, got pooped on. Yeah, I've raised litters of puppies, Crows. Poop no longer affects me. If it's blood and vomit mixed together, maybe. But yeah, I pretty much, when I whelped my Kiri's litters, like, any squeamishness I used to have pretty much went out the window. Yep. I expect goat poop. It's like wearing old clothes and bringing a beach towel. It's gonna be fine. I'll let you guys know, like, the quantity of poop. Like, if it's low quantity, you know, mid quantity, truly alarming quantity, I'll let you know afterwards. You have to wait till April, though, because it's not till the 30th. All right, let's end this thing. It's almost 11:30. I obviously had too much energy today. I slept really well, so I'm like, ba-da! Skipping, you're funny. Yes, we've hit a new high on the stream talking about goat yoga. It's true. It's true. Pebble poops. It's like bunnies. It's like bunny poops. Yes. What if they eat tin cans, though? Aren't the poops a little bit weird then? Maybe that's just my childhood cartoon of the goat eating the tin can. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in tomorrow. Tomorrow we are Sophieing. She's really good, looking really nice, actually. I want to bring up her skin tone a bit tomorrow, and want to line those fingers. And then I think we're going to work on her hair. And yeah, maybe the dress. So that's what we're doing tomorrow. I hope you all have a lovely, lovely Wednesday. I can't believe it's Wednesday already. Yes, you got double Sophie on stream now that the Druid is in. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I can, like, if I end up being okay with that skin tone. I was thinking I might actually lighten it with some rosy skin tone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Quindy, for hurting the cats. Or the goats. Twisted Oma, good luck with any yoga you try. I hope it helps you. And Sentimental, thanks for being on stream. It was good to see you. I can't wait to hear your adventures in the UK. All right? Have fun, everybody. Bye.